and welcome to Mindful Mondays with Carrie. It's good to be with you, and I have a lot to share with you this episode. This episode is our brains and the dance of self-criticism and self-compassion. So I also want to mention to stay tuned, keep watching throughout this series on self-compassion. At the end, I will share with you how to enter into a drawing for a free coaching session, an integrated somatic parts work coaching session. So stay tuned. That is where we kind of integrate all of these things, right? The body, the somatics, and the parts work, which we've dealt with a lot with the reparenting series, and then also bringing in compassion into the process, doing a coaching session on that. So again, stay tuned for how to enter into that drawing. Also, there is a fuller blog post for a deeper dive on my website, willowholisticcenter.com. So you can go over there to read the full blog post, as well as if you'd like to schedule a consultation for coaching or therapy. Okay, so let's go into it. Today, again, we're talking about the dance of self-criticism and self-compassion. Paul Gilbert, who is the author of The Compassionate Mind, and he's the developer of compassion-focused therapy. According to him, there are three interacting emotional regulation systems that have evolved over time, okay? The oldest is the threat and protect system. There's also the incentive and resource-seeking system, and then there's the soothing and contentment or the caring system. Okay, so we're gonna break those down right now. So the threat and protect system, this is the oldest part of our brain, the reptilian brain, and this is the most easily triggered. If you think about it, we're designed to survive, okay? We were not designed to be happy and enjoy and find pleasure, okay? We were designed to survive. So as soon as our system detects a threat, this system goes into action. The amygdala will register danger. This is part of our brain, and it releases cortisol and adrenaline. Okay. So we'll have these bursts of emotions such as anxiety, anger, disgust, depression. This urges us into action. With the cortisol, which is the stress hormone, as well as adrenaline, will prompt a fight, flight, freeze response. In modern society, more often than not, this is triggered due to a psychological threat, such as to our self-image or our concept of ourselves, a threat to our ego. Okay, this is a great system for physical threats, which is still important to have. And again, more often than not, depending on where you are, it's triggered due to psychological threat. The system doesn't know the difference between the two, okay? And when we have chronic activation or chronic stress, it leads to anxiety and depression, as well as health issues, because now we have this cortisol and adrenaline running through our bodies nonstop. It's meant to be, a short burst so that we can flee danger, fight off the bear, whatever it might be, get to safety, and then it goes away. When we're stressed about deadlines and getting that promotion and all the things, right? It continues, and that's not what the body is designed for. When the threat and protect system is activated, we might have this perceived inadequacy, and we go into self-criticism, okay? So we become the attacker as well as the attacked. Big ouch on that. And when we flee, okay, we go into isolation. And when we freeze, we get stuck in this rumination, like the hamster in the wheel, over and over and over again, thinking about that, whatever that might be that you're anxious about, okay? So you might resonate with one or more of those patterns that you find yourself into when the threat and protect system gets activated. Okay, moving on, there's the incentive and resource seeking system. This system provides positive feelings that encourage us to seek the necessary resources for survival, as well as for prosperity, okay, for ourselves as well as for those that we care about. With an underactive system, we lack the motivation and the drive to reach our goals. It sounds more like depression. And when our system is overactive, we can get frustrated and disappointed because of these insatiable desires. And in today's society, it's more, just more resources and more. Okay, and that gets us, this insatiable desires just lead to frustration and disappointment, as well as exhaustion. Okay. When we get blocked in achieving the goal that we're after, that will trigger the threat and protect system, leading to anxiety, frustration, and anger. And when things are going well, right, we're falling in love, we're achieving our goals, we're winning, we're accomplishing, we're gaining the resources, there's a dopamine release, which is associated with the pleasure. And then that can keep that going, okay? And then there's the soothing and contentment system. This is the system we're going to focus on with self-compassion. This is where self-compassion lives. And this was evolved to maintain the bonds between parents and offspring. You know, as mammals, we're dependent for a very long time. And we need our parents to protect us and care for us in order to survive and thrive. Okay, so we have the soothing and contentment system, or the care system. So this system releases oxytocin, which is the love hormone, and endorphins, which is like a natural feel-good opiate. And this helps to reduce stress and promotes feelings of peace, as well as social safety, of well-being, connectedness, okay? Feelings, we need this system to balance the others, okay? And when we're in balance, we have feelings such as peace and a contentment, an inner calm, connected. Okay? We're not striving for more and more. We're not wanting, and we're safe. We're safe and we're at ease. Yeah. Okay, so those are the three systems. Now, some insights on these, on all of this. Uncomfortable emotions, such as the anxiety, anger, disgust, depression, right, are normal. They're important protective responses. Oftentimes, people have, including myself, have it internalized that if I feel sad or depressed or angry, that there's something wrong with me. We might judge ourselves and feel shame around natural and important emotions that are part of our human experience. Okay, so for example, if we are feeling nice and peaceful and we're centered and grounded, we're taking a hike and we're connected with our friend who we're talking with during our hike, it's very important and crucial that we have these systems in place so that if I see a bear, I might freeze and wait for the bear to keep going before continuing our walk, right? So it's important to have these emotions and these responses to keep us alive, all right? And again, it's so often that we have internalized these emotions to mean that there's something wrong with us. You can go back to one of the first episodes on the resistances to contact. I believe we talked about introjects, which is like these internalized messages. So you might have some that it's not okay to be angry. again, their normal responses. And part of being compassionate with ourselves is to be able to accept ourselves and all of our emotions, to tolerate and work with these natural emotions as part of the ebb and flow of life. And again, you might notice, a lot of people I work with are compassion experts. They're great with compassion with children or their pets or their friends or other people. It's turning it with ourselves, okay? Let's see, what else? It's also important to notice how these systems can just be overstimulated. The threats and the overstimulation of resource seeking and incentive seeking, just so much overstimulation in these two systems that we might need to work extra hard to build the muscle of the care system. Perhaps that has gone neglected. So taking the time to really nurture this system to balance out the whole. Yeah. Just thinking about what else to add here. Also, cultivating self-compassion, another way to think about it is that it downregulates that threat response. So you have this burst of emotions, such as anxiety, anger, disgust, depression, frustration. And when we're able to cultivate the self-compassion, it'll downregulate those emotions and over time help to increase other emotions, okay? Now, we don't do self-compassion in order to feel better. It's more about how do I meet myself wherever I'm at. If I am sad, am I beating myself up? What's wrong with me? Get yourself together. That's going to just create more of the same, of that threat, as opposed to, feeling really sad. Where do I feel that? Let me just be with it. I use touch a lot, and that might be something for you to play with too. Maybe that'll be a practice down the road. So just to bring it all together, it's important to embrace the concept of self-compassion as part of the natural ebb and flow of emotions, and to accept these as part of our common humanity. This is part of the human experience, is to have all the emotions. We are not meant to only be happy, okay? And by nurturing and cultivating self-compassion, we have a greater access to inner peace and contentment instead of trying to change what's right here. Okay, that's what leads to suffering, is when I want whatever's in front of me to be different, as opposed to accepting whatever it is, whether it's pleasant, whether it's not pleasant. Okay. And yeah, the benefits of self-compassion are reducing depression and anxiety, stress, and shame. I think that was the most, for me in my journey, the most palpable shift was that of reducing the shame. And then it increases happiness, confidence, peace, contentment, just general satisfaction in life and physical well-being, because again of the all those hormones and chemicals that are released as part of these systems, right? It's again, we're not designed to have a constant flow of that, and it just puts more stress on our physical system. So when we're able to access the care system, that balances out all of that. So it also benefits our physical well-being. All right. That wraps it up. Your teachable takeaway. I'm going to be taking a couple things from a couple different episodes here. If you remember the pause and ponder, otherwise known as like a conscious moment. So whether it's certain times of the day that you do this, every time, I don't know, you pick up your phone. That'd be a lot of times for most people. Every time you get into your car, anytime you're standing in line, or you can set an alarm on your phone to remind you to do this, because if you're not used to doing it, it's gonna be a challenge to remember to do it. And it is to simply check in. Where am I right now? And what system am I in? Am I in the threat and protect system right now? What's the emotion? Okay. Am I striving for more? Am I in the incentive and resource seeking system? Or am I in the soothing and contentment or the care system, right? And not judgment, just starting to notice this. Notice what your emotions are, okay? So that is one. And if you would like bonus teachable takeaway, if you find that you're in the threat and protect or the incentive resource seeking systems, I invite you to do the soften, allow, and love practice, or find any kind of just a short meditative practice to come in and settle and to give yourself some loving attention, okay? Next week, I'll do another practice as well, so you have a couple to access right here on Mindful Mondays. Thanks again for being with me, and I hope you have a wonderful day.